Hey guys, and welcome back to Mad About Skin. Today I am talking you through the maze that is exfoliating acids. I recently did a video where I talked about how to exfoliate properly, which I will leave a link to up there. On the back of that, a lot of people asked for a little bit more information about exfoliating acids themselves, what they deliver, who they're suitable for, which ones you should be using for each skin type, and a whole host of questions. So I thought, wow, best way to answer that is to jump on and talk about the exfoliating acids themselves, which ones might be best for tackling certain issues and for certain skin types, and let's just demystify exfoliating acids. I'm going to be using the Ordinary as sort of like our guide and the brand that I'm going to be mentioning in today's video. That's because they tend to have one of every single acid in their collection. As we go through though, I will be making some other recommendations for some other brands you might want to try, some other types of acids and some blends of acids that are starting to come on the market, so I will mention them as we go along. Let's jump straight into it and start with, I think, my favourite from the past. This is the exfoliating acid I went to time and time again until I very recently switched, and that's glycolic acid. For the Ordinary, it comes in one form, which is a 7% glycolic acid toning solution, a really nice product that's formulated gently enough to be able to use every single day. With glycolic acid, it tends to be the quickest acting of the exfoliating acids. Obviously, it depends on the strength as to the results you're going to get and how often you should use it, so it can be a little bit difficult to understand and how you should be piecing it into your routine. I love glycolic acid because it really just gets to work and eats away at those bonds which are holding that dead skin cells onto that gorgeous glowing skin beneath. It's really suitable for people with oily skin through to combination skin. I'd say anyone who has a drier skin type should just stay clear of glycolic acid. That's because it is the most drying of all the exfoliating acids that I've tried, and its mechanism of action does lead to some drying of the skin, and so it's not really that beneficial for people who already have inbuilt skin dryness. Could just exacerbate that. You can get so many different types of glycolic acid. The Ordinary one is a toning solution, so it's a water-based one that you can apply every single day. You get some treatments that you use twice a week, once a week, depending on the strength. So when it comes to glycolic acid, I would say check the manufacturer's instructions. You know, if the product says to use it once a week, use it once a week. If it says you can use it every single day, use it every single day if you feel your skin can tolerate it. It's one of the more complicated ones to work into your routine, so just make sure you read those instructions and understand what you're using. I think glycolic acid is a great option, like I say, for people that have oily skin or oily combination skin, but I've started moving away from it because even on my very oily skin, I found it to be a little bit drying. I've now moved on to the second acid that I'm going to talk about, which is lactic acid. From the Ordinary, you have this. This is the lactic acid 10% with hyaluronic acid. You also have the 5% with hyaluronic acid. I love the fact that you get two different strengths here. I wish the Ordinary would do this more with their exfoliating acids, to be honest. The 10% is almost equivalent to that 7% glycolic acid, but way more hydrating. The 5% I'd say is more gentle and so much more suitable for people who have inbuilt skin sensitivity and don't want to trigger a redness or an inflammatory reaction. Lactic acid is totally different to glycolic acid. Still an AHA, alpha hydroxy acid, but works totally differently. It's got a huge molecule, and molecule size matters when it comes to exfoliating acids. The larger the molecule, the more shallow the penetration in terms of how deep it'll go into your skin will be. The shallower the penetration, the less irritation, redness, peeling, and just some of the side effects you can get from using an acid will be. That makes lactic acid amazing when it comes to people with sensitive skin because it's just going to be much more of a superficial exfoliation, great results, but much less sensitivity. The addition of hyaluronic acid in here is interesting because itself, lactic acid is unique amongst the other exfoliating acids because it's also a humectant. That means it draws moisture to the skin and retains moisture in the skin. So it's perfect for anyone who wants to use an exfoliating acid but has dry skin. This will leave you more hydrated than when you applied it, which is almost unheard of when it comes to exfoliating acids. Like I say, adding the hyaluronic acid into this product already just dials up that hydration even more, which is why I think in terms of lactic acids, the Ordinary has it nailed and this will be the go-to product. It goes on as it's got a slight almost like rose gold tint to it, but that's all natural and comes from the addition of pepperberry in here, which just again helps to reduce any inflammation. It glides onto the skin almost like a water. It's got a very watery texture. There's no scent, all of these are unscented, which I think is important in an exfoliator, and you get a light tingle on use. In terms of how often you can use it, if you have very robust skin, no sensitivity, no redness issues, you can use this every single day. I think if you want to use it every single day, I personally would opt for the 5%. I think it'll just be more gentle and you'll get the results but with less risk of sensitivity. But you can use both of them every single day if your skin tolerance allows. But I would then start gently. As with all of these, start gently, go for like once or twice a week and then build up from there. This it's just a gorgeous product. If you've ever used a exfoliating acid and found it has that chemically smell, that off-putting chemically odour, none of these do, which is really nice because whilst I look for unfragranced in and fragrance-free in all of my exfoliating acids, just because I don't want to risk any additional sensitivity, I don't want it to smell super chemically, which can be quite off-putting when you use it. There's no scent at all to this. It's a really, really nice product and definitely a 10 out of 10, ding, ding, ding from Mad About Skin. Now, we're moving on, sticking with the alpha hydroxy acids, because we'll come on to some other different types later in the video. But sticking with them, I'm going to mention this, which is the mandelic acid. So mandelic acid is very different in terms of how it works. It offers a huge molecule size for its exfoliation, which means it is the gentlest exfoliator out there. If you use mandelic acid, it will take around 2 to 3 months to start seeing the results. The ordinary mandelic acid is in a 10% concentration, which is the standard for a mandelic acid. I think you'll have to wait for these results, which means it's not the sort of product that people gravitate to a reach for because they want to see as instant hits. We all want that gorgeous glowing skin from first use. You won't get that with mandelic acid, but you also won't get any of the redness, the peeling, and the sensitivity. So I would say mandelic acid is best for people with sensitive skin. Maybe they've got a little rosacea, maybe they're just prone to skin sensitivity and flare-ups. Mandelic acid will be great. You'll need to wait 2 to 3 months for the results, but you'll get them without any of those redness, dryness, sensitivity, all the things you want to avoid. It's a much more suitable product for people with inbuilt skin sensitivity. Anybody else, I'd say actually you can safely get better and quicker results with the other products I've mentioned, so I wouldn't necessarily gravitate to this. But for people with sensitive skin who always say to me, can I still exfoliate? Absolutely. Just reach for a mandelic acid. Now, coming on to the last of the AHAs, let's cover off the alpha hydroxy acids, and I'm talking about here azelaic acid. This is the last of the alpha hydroxy acids out there. Azelaic acid is totally different. It's not strictly an exfoliating acid at all. So you will get some light exfoliation from using the product, but it certainly shouldn't be used as an exfoliator. You can actually pair it with any of these other products that I've mentioned, providing your skin is accustomed to it. Introduce one at a time, don't overload the skin. Azelaic acid is clinically proven to reduce the redness in the skin, any sensitivity, to take away any inflammation, and it can also help fight acne. So if you're breakout prone like me, adding azelaic acid in, which will decrease the amount of acne causing bacteria on the skin, is like game changing. It will do it without triggering any redness or sensitivity, and if you have rosacea or inbuilt skin sensitivity anyway, use an azelaic acid as standard in your routine because it will really just help control that. It'll also make the introduction of any other exfoliating acids into your routine much easier because it's going to stop any triggering of sensitivity, redness, or irritation. The ordinary azelaic acid is out of stock at the moment, which is why I'm not mentioning it in this video. It's fine. It's in a dimethicone, a silicone base, so it goes on quite slippery and almost feels more like a makeup primer than a serum. And some people love that because it'll help fill in your pores, and some people do say it gives a really nice feel to the skin. However, a lot of people say it's a bit silicone-y, it doesn't layer very well with other products. So I'm actually reaching at the moment for the Geek and Gorgeous A pad. This is an azelaic acid derivative, so it says 20%, but that's a little bit misleading because it's a derivative. I would look for a pure form azelaic acid in a 5 or a 10% concentration. If you're looking for a derivative, 20% is fine. Derivatives are super gentle, so this is even more gentle than azelaic acid already is. This one goes on as a clear but slightly more gel-like than some other ones I've tried. It sinks into the skin after about 20 seconds and again is unfragranced. You don't get any stinging, tingling, irritation, or redness from this like you might get from some of the other products I mentioned on first use, which means it's just a great first hit for anybody who has sensitive skin. This is applicable for all skin types, and I think it's just a really, I'll leave a link to this as I've linked to all of these products below, because I just think this is a really nice introduction to azelaic acid. It's actually got quite a cooling feel to the skin, particularly if you keep it in the fridge. So again, dial down that redness and get that instant relief by keeping it in the fridge and just bringing that calming and soothing to the skin. I absolutely love that. So now we've covered the alpha hydroxy acids. You know, we've tackled those with a small molecule size, giving those quick results like glycolic acid, but potentially leading to some irritation, through to those with huge molecule sizes like lactic acid and mandelic acid. Slower mechanism of action, but none of that irritation, the redness, the nasties. Now we're going to move on to BHAs. So BHAs are worlds apart from AHAs. They sound similar in terms of their name, but that's about where it ends. They're actually oil soluble, so they bind to oil and they remove it from the skin. So if you apply a BHA to the skin, particularly like a salicylic acid, it will go into the pores, it will bind to the oil, and when you wash it off, with it you'll be washing all that excess oil and any dirt or debris that's associated with that oil. This makes it perfect for people with oily skin, blemish-prone skin, acne-prone skin. Just, this was my saviour when I was in my teens. So the Ordinary do one type of salicylic acid. This is the 2% Masque. Now this goes on, I'll show you, this goes on as like a black, because it's got activated charcoal in there, which I'm not a huge fan. In fact, I included it in one of my most overrated ingredients videos, which I'll leave a link to up there. This goes on like a black mask, which you leave on and then you just wash off afterwards. The reason I'm not a huge fan of this is because it's quite messy, but it does certainly deliver results. So the 2% salicylic acid in here is standard. You'll see most salicylic acids formulated with 2%. That's because at that concentration, you get great results, but you don't get any of the irritation or some of the sensitivity that you could get if you pushed it higher. So most products will have a 2%. There's no scent to this. It gives a very light tingle when you first apply it. Once you get over the messiness of it and washing it off, I'd recommend no one should be using a white towel to get this off. You know, definitely go for a coloured towel and make sure you really wash it, particularly where it pools in the, you know, the inner corners of the nose and mouth. This, once it's washed off, will leave your skin feeling brighter. It'll declog any congestion you have. It's really great if you have those bumps, those closed comedones. This could really help. So whilst I don't think it's the easiest of applications, you certainly get the results. If you want to go for the same strength salicylic acid, but without having to think about, you know, all of the mess and the charcoal in here, you could reach for the Incilist salicylic acid. Great product. Clear serum, goes onto the skin, just easier to use. So I will leave a link to that below. And I'll also include some other ones that I really like. The Paula's Choice Skin Perfecting 2% BHA, great. That's like the holy grail. Costs a fair amount. It's much more expensive than the Ordinary or the Incilist, but it does give a really great hydration afterwards. So I really love that. Now, we're going to come on to the newer generation, the PHA. So PHA, polyhydroxy acids, are, I'd say, comparable in terms of how they function with a mandelic acid. They're super gentle. They have a large molecule size, so they're not going to irritate the skin. There are lots of different ones out there, from gluconolactone, which is I think probably the most popular one, to some more niche ones out there, but they all get badged under the polyhydroxy acid banner. I think polyhydroxy acids work best when they're mixed and formulated with another exfoliating acid to really dial up the strength of them. The Geek and Gorgeous Calm Down, this is formulated with a 4% PHA, so 4% of that polyhydroxy acid, but also some BHA, some salicylic acid thrown in there as well. This works really well because you get the in-pore exfoliation and you get the surface level exfoliation from the PHA. This has some other nice like cactus extract and things in there to cool the skin, and I just really like it. One thing I love about this is it's got an attachable cap, so you can actually make sure it's sealed properly, which I like because it keeps it fresh, and I don't know why more companies don't do that. Looks really great, but I do think this is a really nice PHA product. The Ordinary, unfortunately, don't have any PHAs. I don't know whether that's something they could bring out, because I think that's where the market's heading, and I'm really excited to see some of the new products that come out with polyhydroxy acids in. I wish the Ordinary would, you know, introduce a polyhydroxy acid. I think that's missing from this collection, but who knows? Fingers crossed for 2021. Obviously, my go-to is Geek and Gorgeous, but they do a polyhydroxy acids from the Incilist, which is really nice, and also I'll leave a link to some other ones if you want to explore it. But for me, polyhydroxy acids alone, great for sensitive skin. When it's combined with something like a salicylic acid, it becomes applicable to every skin type and is a really just nice introduction to exfoliating acids that anybody can enjoy. There we are, guys. That's it. A full rundown, a quick whistle-stop tour to demystify exfoliating acids. I would love to know, do you use any of the exfoliating acids from The Ordinary, or do you like to mix it up? Leave me a comment below with what is your go-to exfoliator, and include in that your skin type, because it's really good to know what people with different skin types are using. I've left links to all of these products I mentioned below if you do want to check them out, read up some of the reviews, the ingredients, or make a purchase. And wherever you are in the world, guys, stay safe, stay well, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care. Bye.